What's the most humiliating reason you've ever heard for a teenager to be expelled from school for? When I was 17 I had to write a paper about what I would do if it was my last 24 hours on earth. Being a jackal's eye out things like blow stuff up and rob liquor stores. Well, my teacher thought I was serious and turned the paper into the principal, who turned it into the police. I got charged with a felony for threats of terrorism and expelled for 6 months. Not really embarrassing, I guess, but funny, nevertheless. Not expelled but suspended for 2 weeks. The person was accused of bringing fireworks and bangers into school. It was party poppers for celebrating their friend's birthday. People seem confused by banger. It's what we call them in Ireland. I guess the American equivalent would be firecrackers. You light them and they make a loud bang. Hence the name. 2 8th graders from some school in a pretty upper class area were caught fricking in the elevator. On camera. In the elevator. At school. Okay then. Well, I guess the purpose of elevators is for people to get down quick. I went to a Protestant school in Australia. My very good friend had just died from bone cancer. My girlfriend was comforting me and hugging me as I was crying my eyes out. A teacher came past and told she to move away as there was a no touching rule. My girlfriend nicely and calmly explained the situation to the teacher, who responded by explaining that she was not concerned by this. I subsequently told her to get fricked. I was marched up to the principal's office in front of all my mates, a crying, blithering mess where I was told I would be taking a week off school due to suspension. The reason I was at school was because he had been in hospital for over a month and I was only made aware of his passing in the bus trip in. This all occurred before the school rang for first period. 2 kids, guy and girl, were expelled from my private school for giving oral in one of the staircases. The whole thing was recorded on video and shown to the students' parents. The parents had to sit and watch their kids receive give fellatio with the superintendent and dean of the school. I have no idea if this is considered chili pea, or just evidence in case the kids who were expelled decide to sue the school. A line outside of the men's bathroom for free blowjobs. There must have been 15-20 people in line once they found out it was going down. She was new to the school and I guess wanted to service the boys. She was expelled right away. Her nickname, Roboho. I almost got suspended for using Brokeback Mountain in a list of love stories in middle school. The teacher called my parents and asked if they were letting me be exposed to that sort of stuff. My parents just laughed. I'm in high school currently, and last year a friend was expelled for writing a death threat to a teacher and also made a hit list. Nobody would have known it was him except he dropped it in the hall and a teacher picked it up and read it. I'm glad he got caught. Also, a couple got caught fricking in the bathroom when a teacher walked in. Why did a teacher walk in? They were using a teachers only bathroom. After getting suspended, the guy threatened to shoot up the school. Yeah, he is gone now. This kid was suspended at my school for throwing biscuits at the goths. It was funny, because he thought he was being cool by teasing them, but the goths were catching and eating the biscuits. Hilarious. The mental image I have is similar to a senior citizen feeding pigeons at a park. In cooking class a girl was flipping a knife around for God knows why and lost her grip, ended stabbing herself smack dab in the nether regions. She had suspended for violation of some safety rule or something, but dang it must have sucked. TL. DR. Knife in P. Best TL. DR. Ever. I had a friend in high school who got expelled, later reinstated, because a girl said that he threatened her and then later changed her story to she felt threatened by him. This girl would sit behind him in class and accuse his father of cheating on his mom and being a terrible person for basically no reason. She had this little loser minion who followed her around and basically did whatever she said. Pretty sure the guy was in love with her. So anyway, after like 2 years of this crap he tells her to shut the frick up. Then he gets expelled. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Good old school system. Punishing the victim and all that. I almost got expelled, if that's the right word, from our university. Our engineering curriculum was designed in such a way that for the first year you were in a large group for a bunch of classes together, meaning you'd have Calc 1, Physics, Engineering 101, etc. all with the same group of students. It promoted teamwork or something. Anyways, One of our classes was over 2 hours long, so we got a break halfway through. Usually me and my 2 friends would hit up the snack cart and shoot the crap in the hall until we had to go back. Never thought much of it. One day we're in that same class and 4 university police officers burst into our class and go "You 3. With US now slightly embarrassing. Especially since we had no idea what was going on. We follow them and they start berating and questioning us about why we were making fun of a fellow professor for being gay. If we knew this was a hate crime. If we knew we could get expelled for it. So, we're crapping our pants. We don't even know what they're talking about. The professor in question comes out, confirms it was definitely the 3 of us, and now we have to meet with the real police later in the day as a form complaint is being charged. Before I continue, let me state that we absolutely weren't making fun of this guy. Truth be told, we never paid any attention to him and certainly didn't know or make fun of him for being gay. Me and one of my friends were old friends from elementary school, while the third was a new friend. I asked my friends if they wanted to talk to the guy privately and only my old friend wanted to. We went to his office and asked to speak with him. We explained the situation, saying that if we had inadvertently said something about gays it was merely an accident and not directed at him. We told him we were truly sorry and meant no ill will. We then asked if we could shake his hand and settle this. He agreed, but he did not agree to cut the third friend loose. He said it was really him that was saying the stuff anyways, and we were just a part of it. We could tell he didn't believe us, but he told the police to not involve us and only charge the third. The third friend ended up having to take a hate crime class for the entire semester, meet with mediators the entire semester, and was put on academic probation. That's balls. Even if you were making gay jokes, that doesn't give school administration or law enforcement to charge you with hate crime. You should threaten to take them to court and really call their bluff. This would never stick and win a court case if there were no witnesses to testify or if your group never made any death threats or physical assault. My freshman year of college I attended a very prude and tightly ruled school. Not only were the dorms split on gender, but opposite genders couldn't even be in the lobby. We knew this, but thought the on-campus houses were a little more relaxed. So there we were, 4 guys and 1 girl sitting in the living room of an on-campus house owned by the university watching baseball and just talking casually. All of a sudden, the back door swings open and campus security comes marching in. I need everyone to give me their student IDs right now. We figured it was best not to make a scene. And what's the worst that could happen? We all handed over our IDs and were told we would be hearing from the university about this matter. A few days later I get a letter to my room stating that I was expelled from the university. What the frick? We each had to meet individually with the university president and write a letter about what an awful crime we committed. Of course, I just wanted to get back into school, so I made it read sincere, but it was the most sarcastically written letter of my life. I'm very sorry for jeopardizing my education by talking to a member of the opposite gender. That was my one and only year at that godforsaken place. My niece just got expelled from school for convincing another child to take off his pants. But she is 3 years old, so I don't understand why it is such a big deal. I was expelled from school because I got on MySpace and told an internet friend that I wanted to put my bully in the hospital. You know, beat the crap out of him. Well, her mother sees that threat 2 weeks later and notifies my school, and I was kicked out for threats of terrorism and was told to never come back to that school. Honestly, I never touched the guy and didn't plan to. I was just venting out my anger because the school never did a dang thing when I told them I was being bullied. I don't talk out loud about my emotions anymore because that little vent fricked up my life. I was 14. I had no other school to go to, so I waited until I was of age and got my GED. Life has been a struggle because of that, but I learned my lesson at least. So yeah, when I meet people and the subject of school or anything related to that subject comes up, I have to explain that I was kicked out of school because of what I said on MySpace. The humiliation kills me every time. The thing I've learned from this thread: US schools have no idea what the word terrorism means. There are hundreds of definitions, but the main commonality is that it is for a political purpose. That guy bullied me, I'm going to beat him up is most definitely not terrorism. One kid got expelled for pulling the red fire alarm, which, in turn, caused an evacuation while waiting for the fire department to arrive. He claimed later to have done it out of sheer boredom, which later became his motto in the yearbook. A guy in our school is about 6'6". One time he tripped over the rim of a door, hits the fire alarm and causes the whole school to evacuate. Didn't get expelled or anything. He never forgot about it though. We didn't let him XD. I volunteer myself. I was expelled for planning to hack the teacher's server when all the evidence they had on me was that I had Tor and a few VPNs installed on my MVP. I was in a Mac 1-to-1 school. I was a very bored 11th grader with ADHD, but got along well with all my teachers and classmates, except for the principal and his wife, also a teacher, who didn't like me much after my dad complained of their negligence after I had a panic attack out at sea alone during a windsurfing excursion. I was basically a chronic liar who was making it up in their eyes. I had been on probation a few times for other minor things, but they obviously had a grudge against me. The principal then transferred to another school shortly after I got expelled. But karma exists in real life and not just on Reddit. So out in town one day I happened to walk past my ex-principal who was holding hands with another woman. I snapped a photo and posting it on Facebook. I didn't actually think too much of it because it was already talk among some of the students, but it went viral across both the schools among the teachers and students, and I'm told they both split up because of it. Apparently they are much happier now, so good for them. The guy's name was John. We were in the middle of history class and the teacher says, "John, go to the office and turn in your cell phone. You know the rules." John stands up, rips off his shirt, and flips over every desk in the classroom while cursing at the teacher. As he's walking out he pushes the teacher into the wall. Here's the twist. The teacher wasn't even talking to him. She was talking to another student named John who was using his phone to show someone a picture. My old teacher used to work in a rough area in London about 10 years ago. She told us how one 14-year-old had a wankin' lesson and was caught by the teacher after he came in his hand. I'm not sure how it happened, but the kid ended up storming out and wiped his jizz all over the handle when leaving. In order to get the other kids out, the teacher had to use a piece of paper over her hand to touch the handle. This is rather far-fetched, I know. I was probably in around 3rd or 4th year of seniors, 13-15ish, and there was a dude in my year who I'll refer to as CH. As the story goes, CH acquired a piece of white dog crap. Bear with me here. He took it home and painstakingly dried it and ground it down, only to bring it into school the next day, badly wrapped in cling film to offer to his feebly-minded minions as what I can only assume was C. They declined. For whatever fricking reason, CH was like, "Nah lads, this is good crap, look," and did a big fat line of old, white, ground dog crap in the boys' toilets. Anyway, he got grassed up as he spent the next hour in the cubicle violently vomiting. Haha. It all came to a head and he got excluded for what I can only imagine to be a various number of reasons. Oh, I almost forgot. This guy once smeared "help me" on the cubicle doors in his own crap. Psy Catholic school. Student wasn't expelled. They made him switch schools because he is a high achiever. He said he was tired of all of the born-agains teasing him for being an atheist. He also dressed pretty provocatively, in their eyes. So he crucified a baby pig and put it in their prayer spot on campus. All expulsions in CA. By law you switch schools within the district. He was achieving, so they didn't send him to the expulsion school that lets out at noon. When I was 15 I was a high school stoner. One day it was -23 without a wind chill and me and this other guy decided to smoke our water bottle bong in the bathroom to keep from having to go way out back. We go into the sketchiest bathroom in the furthest corner of the school and into the handicap stall. We had all the smoking stuff out. I had the water bottle, he had the stem and bowl. We each had our own weed. As we start putting it together, the principal knocks on the stall door and says, "Come out boys, I know you're in there." So I crush the water bottle and he hides his paraphernalia. I put my weed in between my dong and my sack and he put his up his sleeve. In the office we were put in separate rooms. He was interrogated first. While that was happening I hid my weed in the bottom of a filing cabinet. During his talk with the authorities his weed was found. They brought the school's cop in and searched my pockets but found nothing. Catholic school 2003. I was suspended for being in a bathroom stall with another boy. He was expelled for the same offense but because it was a recurring thing for him. They also sent him to rehab for weed. Reefer madness. Guy at my high school went into the girls' bathroom, came out with a used tampon and started smoking it like it was a cigarette. Most awkward lunch period ever. Lunch period. Guy at my school got expelled for using an empty Pringles can to masturbate. He cut a hole in the top and just fricked it. Ouch. We were on the bus on the way back from a school trip and me and my friends were sat at the back. We spent most of the journey just messing around, playing cards etc. when we noticed that the teacher sat nearest to us had headphones in. Being dumb kids, we decided to see if we could start shouting dumb stuff without him hearing us. We tried yelling a few things before one of my friends yelled, "Would you like to suck my dong, Mr. L?" At which point Mr. L turned around, because he had turned his music off, and made my friend go and sit somewhere else. He got a 2-day suspension for that. My little brother's friend was in the locker room after gym. Everyone had just taken a shower and were in towels or whatnot. So a couple of people hold this random kid down and my bro's friend whips off his towel, spreads his butt cheeks, presses his bare butthole against this kid's nose and lets out a big fart. This is physical shaming assault. I don't know what kind of criminal charges came up, but I know the police were involved. He was immediately thrown out of school. He thought it was a joke, but it went way too far. From what I heard, his balls were hanging all over the kid's mouth. Both guys were straight. Some people I know got suspended for trying to use fake money at a nearby newsagent. Another time, the same people got punished for straight up shoplifting. Same newsagent. In fairness, they are idiots. A girl in my school wasn't formally expelled, however she was shamed into homeschooling. Essentially, she gave this one dude a BJ, went and bragged about it, and then when everyone called her a she changed her story and called it physical shaming assault. The guy almost got expelled for physical shaming assault too. In my town, a girl I know was dating a guy in senior year at a local high school for a few weeks and got pregnant. Her dad found out and got freaking pee. She changed her story and called it rape. The guy got expelled before graduating. Didn't graduate, lost all his college acceptances. Freaking heartbreaking. I wonder what he's up to now. Just looked her up. Yep, still a party girl. I went to a private school. Me and a girl there fell in love and started dating. We both did cross country together after school. One night after practice, we didn't want to go home, so we stayed in her car. She was senior, I was still a sophomore. The whole night and lost our virginity together. Well, we were literally up all night long enough for school to start the next morning. We were still in the car. Couldn't see through the windows, it was so steamy in there. Titanic style, I guess. We were pretty out of it, so we didn't go to school. Meanwhile, our parents are freaking out and I guess word gets to the school that we're not there. So I guess the logical conclusion was to expel us both. I was suspended for using a teacher's computer. You see, IT had developed this clever system where every computer in the entire school was perfectly identical in both hardware and software before a user logs in. Once a user logged in, it loaded their desktop, files and permissions from a central server. So did I log into my teacher's account? Nope. I logged into my own account and did my homework. But since I did it at the workstation at the front of the room, instead of the rows of workstations at the desks, I was suspended for hacking. Hacking my butt. I'd say that this is very widely used. Microsoft call it roaming profiles. I find it hilarious you were suspended for doing something exactly as intended. It is possible to set restrictions on who can log on to what, though. Story is about me, and I wasn't a teenager. Oh well. When I was in first grade, I went to a private school. For my birthday, my mom got me a book about dragons. Dragons are freaking awesome. Brings dragon book to school. Teacher finds it, gets brought to principal, yells at me about revelations, Satan, and dragons. Gets expelled for like a week. Dragon book is taken. I was taught by the deputy head at a pretty decent secondary school in the UK. He only expelled one person. A girl was caught taking a £5 note from a teacher's handbag. The deputy head sat down in his office with the girl and her father. The head said to the father, "Your daughter has been caught stealing money from a teacher. We need to work together to find out why this happened and how to prevent it." The father responded with, "So, I do stuff like that all the time." The head realized there was nothing he could do to help her and he expelled her on the spot. Suspended for a while but not expelled. In 8th grade, one kid went into the bathroom, kicked open the stall, and pee all over another kid. I think they were kinda friends and it was just a prank. It's just a prank, bro. Some kids in my HS got suspended because they swore on Facebook. Basically, the guys had a group on Facebook to discuss which girls they were asking to prom. Something like that anyway. It was the year below me, so I wasn't in it. Then some guys started talking crap about some girls. Once again, general idea, not sure exactly, and some other guys told them to frick off essentially. They proceeded to get suspended for swearing on the internet outside of school. A kid in my class was going to a freshman dance with his girlfriend who just started chemotherapy. He shaved his hair off so she wouldn't be the only one there with no hair. He was suspended for 3 weeks for violating dress code and having hair under 3/4 of an inch, even though all the black kids have theirs under that. TLDR. Private schools have stupid rules. When I was in 3rd grade, one of my classmates found a bag of marijuana on the playground during recess. We were at the time taking DARE courses and trying to do the right thing. He took the baggie to the teacher to report it. The teacher decided to, instead of recognizing the child performed as he was taught to do and congratulate him, to report that the child had a bag of drugs in his possession. The kid was expelled for the rest of the year and the following year ended up becoming a dealer. TLDR. Teacher creates dealer by teaching student no good deed goes unpunished. My friend ended up getting kicked out mainly because of me. We weren't in school at the time but at a boarding house with about 15 other boys. We were doing normal teenage tomfoolery and decided to steal a boy's clothes. We then proceeded to chase him down the corridor at full speed, whipping his ass with a towel. Now the problem was about halfway down the corridor a family of a prospective student was being shown around, only to be greeted by a naked boy running full speed at them with 2 of us chasing him with towels. He got expelled and we had exclusions. I feel kinda bad about it, but he had been in trouble before. TLDR. Prospective student and family greeted by crying naked boy being whipped by towels. Bro, most of these stories sound like loser teachers on a power trip, but you morons who can't keep it in your trousers in school, you're idiots. I thought British teachers were overly concerned about health and safety and loved to exert power. How wrong I was. My little brother had the worst luck and was suspended or expelled 3 years in a row. The first time was 8th grade, when after getting pantsed by the same girl 3 times finally got her back, but a teacher saw physical shaming and nothing happened to the girl. At 9th grade he starts taking Vivarin, OTC caffeine pills, before football and wrestling practice. His friends ask for some so they give him $1 since he paid for them, but a teacher saw dealing drugs. 10th grade he is going on a camping trip with the JROTC where they will be practicing survival skills as well as shooting weapons. He gets the bright idea to bring an old BB gun pistol, the spring-loaded kind that barely goes 25 feet. Another student hears him ask his friend if he brought the BBs and rats him out. Expelled for bringing a gun to school. All of this in a rural town of 3,000 people. TLDR. My brother was a gun-toting drug dealer that gets off on physically shaming teenage girls. My friend was going to a private Christian school. She was very troubled, struggled with depression, self-harm, suicide attempts, and had been physically shamed by an older man. She went back and forth about her orientation a lot, and I know she had a hard time coming to terms with it within the bounds of the church. She definitely liked women, probably more than men. So she developed this crush on one of her female teachers, and at some point expressed her feelings to her. Obviously it's not appropriate for a student to have these feelings for a teacher, but the way the school dealt with it was abhorrent. The woman insisted that my friend be expelled for her inappropriate behavior. Keep in mind all my friend had done was email this teacher her feelings. The fact that the school didn't bother to try and help her, but rather just expel her because of it, really made me angry. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.